The sun hung heavy over the white sand, turning the shoreline into a blinding mirror. Pistachio stood at the edge of the dunes, eyes fixed on the horizon, where the blue deepened into a dark, impenetrable navy. Beside him, Peanut could not stay still, his body reacting to the rhythm of the tide with constant, short hops. Almond stood a few feet back, his thumb wedged into the pages of a thick, warm guide, his focus entirely on the information between the covers. Cranberry leaned against a palm tree, her fingers moving across strings, plucking a steady, percussive beat that synced with the crashing surf. Pistachio pointed at the white foam churning against the beach. "The ocean is massive," he said, his voice barely carrying over the wind. "But where do all the fish hide?" Cranberry slowed her tempo, her hand hovering over the strings as she looked toward the turquoise expanse. She gestured toward the water, her expression shifting from playfulness to a quiet, focused wonder. The group moved closer to the water, the sand shifting under their weight. They stared into the deep, searching for signs of the life hidden just beneath the surface. The vastness of the sea suddenly making their own presence feel small and temporary. Cranberry stopped her melody, the silence of the beach suddenly feeling louder. She pointed toward the reef, her finger tracing a line across the water. "Think of it as a bustling city built underwater," she said. "Down there, life never stops moving." Before anyone could respond, a heavy splash detonated near the shoreline. A plume of white spray shot into the air, soaking the sand near their feet. The group stepped back, eyes widening. A large weathered head broke the surface, droplets sliding off its scales. The creature blinked slowly, its dark eyes scanning the group with ancient, steady focus. Peanut jumped, his feet leaving the sand in a quick, startled motion. "Look at that! It is a swimming rock with flippers," he shouted. Almond moved closer, his gaze locked on the visitor as he navigated to a specific page in his book. "That is a green sea turtle, or honu," he said, his voice dropping to a whisper. "These creatures are masters of endurance." The turtle did not retreat, instead drifting closer with the incoming tide. The air around the group shifted. The playfulness of the morning vanished, replaced by a profound, shared silence. They stood motionless, watching the life of the reef reach out to meet them. The turtle drifted in the shallows, its movements slow and deliberate against the backdrop of the vibrant reef. Almond kept his eyes on his book, his voice steady as he explained the complexity of the ecosystem. Even though reefs cover less than 1% of the ocean floor, they provide a home for over 25% of all marine species, he noted, tracing a diagram with his finger. Pistachio nodded, his eyes bright, but as he glanced down toward the tide line, his expression faltered. A flash of jagged, unnatural color caught his attention against the pristine white sand. He stepped forward, his boots sinking into the wet grains near the water. He reached down and pulled a crumpled piece of plastic from the sand. The material was stiff, stained by the salt, and clearly out of place in the natural landscape. He held it up, the sunlight glinting off the artificial surface. The playful atmosphere of the morning evaporated. The group fell silent, their gaze moving from the majestic creature in the water to the dangerous debris held in Pistachio's hand. The reality of the hidden threat settled over them, a stark reminder of the fragile balance required to keep this underwater city alive. They stood in a tight circle, the weight of the realization pulling their focus toward the shore. Pistachio gripped the plastic fragment, his fingers tightening until his knuckles went white. He turned to his friends, his jaw set. "If this place is so special, how do we make sure we keep it safe?" The question hung in the air, punctuated only by the rhythmic crash of the surf. Almond closed his book with a sharp final snap, the sound cutting through the tension, he stepped into the center of the circle, his gaze meeting each of them in turn. "It comes down to 3 rules," he stated, his voice steady and authoritative. "First, never leave trash on the beach. Plastic drifts into the water and chokes the reef. Second, use only reef-safe sunscreen to prevent chemical damage to the coral. Third, always observe marine life from a distance. Never touch or disturb them." The instructions landed with the weight of a mission. Peanut leaned down, his eyes scanning the sand until he spotted a discarded bottle near a palm tree. He lunged for it, scooping it up with both hands. "Pick up the trash, use the right sunscreen, and keep our distance," he repeated, his energy shifting from aimless bouncing to purposeful movement. The group exchanged firm nods. The confusion of a moment ago vanished, replaced by a clear, shared resolve to protect the shore beneath their feet. The shoreline felt different now, no longer just a place to stand, but a front line to defend. Peanut clutched the plastic bottle, his movements deliberate as he tossed it into a nearby bin. Almond, Cranberry, and Pistachio gathered beside him, their faces mirroring the same quiet intensity. They stepped forward in unison, the sand crunching beneath their feet, and linked arms. The connection was firm, a physical chain of support that tethered them to the mission and to each other. They walked toward the edge of the tide, the foam swirling around their ankles, cold and invigorating. The roar of the surf grew louder, a rhythmic pulse that seemed to match the beating of their hearts. They looked at the endless blue horizon, then back at the reef hidden just beneath the surface. With a collective breath, they stood tall and prepared. "Protect the ocean!" they shouted, their voices rising above the crashing waves. "Respect the reef!" They took another step forward, the water rising past their knees. "Enjoy the sunshine!" With one final surge of energy, they leaped into the air together. Their figures hung against the backdrop of the vast sky for a heartbeat, then vanished into the spray, leaving only the surf and the steady cleansing pull of the tide.